Hello, and welcome to a Todd Plays Cities Skylines. This is just going to be a quick little video. I've been playing a lot of City Skylines lately, and I just want to show off the city that I've made in it. This is a custom map that I created, Mount Todd, and it's designed, we've got the ocean down here. And then we go up in these little layers up this mountain until at the very farthest, if the ocean is way to the south, then by the time we go all the way north, this is the highest level that the map can be. So we have a lot of changes in elevation, which I thought was a lot of fun because it let me put in these really neat rivers and beautiful waterfalls. And the game models water physics really, really well, so that led to a lot of fun situations. And it also led to things where I would make, like, this strata is all oil. And then if you go up a couple more layers, right up here I think is all minerals, ores. And then down by the ocean I made this all prime farmland, even though I haven't quite gotten to build any farms on it yet. But so I was able to have a lot of fun making this map. This map has proven very difficult to build roads up and down the different strata, though. The different layers are really tall. I mean, look at this. These are some tall buildings. These are some really giant buildings. So when you consider how big these buildings are, and then the cliffs behind them that we have to go up. In game terms, according to the scale of the game, these are some pretty giant mountains. And in some places I was smart enough to have put in some ramps, but even these sloped areas are so steep that the roads didn't just sit naturally. They built these little bridges and things. And then in some places I didn't build any natural ramps into the cliff when I built the map, so the only way to get up is to get on the world's just scariest road. I'm not crazy about driving, and I'm not crazy about heights. So getting on this road to get up to the next part of the city, I would be terrified to drive on this road. I mean, imagine if you get... Oh, it's paused, I guess. Let's unpause it so the traffic can start moving and you can get the full feel. Actually, pausing the game doesn't affect traffic that much, I guess. When the traffic... Oops. The camera bounces around when the terrain underneath it changes because I rotate it. But yeah, traffic doesn't move too fast even when you unpause it because it's such a bad traffic jam. Traffic is a problem. Mount Todd City has a huge problem with traffic. And here we have a building on fire. Luckily, we do have a fire truck responding. And one lone fireman, well, he put out the... Oh, there's a second fireman. Or firewoman. It's hard to tell from this far out. But they did put out the fire, so I guess they only needed the one or the two people. We got some ambulances going around. Beautiful park. This game is lovely. It's absolutely a gorgeous game. I can spend a lot of time just zooming in and looking around the city at all of these buildings and vehicles. I actually really enjoy watching the traffic. Oh, here's a truck. I have a lot of lumber industry. So we have a lot of trucks hauling lumber to either from places that the trees were cut down to factories or exporting them or importing them or whatever. Now, yeah, traffic is terrible. This is a highway. And why does everybody... Oh my goodness, that's... You people merging into the left lane are scary. Why does everybody insist on being in this one lane? Look at all these other lanes. What are you doing? There's other lanes. Why do you all have to be in the left? Hot dog truck, you're going to run over those motorcycles. Oh, that one motorcyclist got in the middle lane. He's like, oh, forget this. Oh my goodness, that looks dangerous. Now, granted, you want to get out of this far right lane, I guess, so these poor people can merge in, but still, I don't know. The choices these guys make in as far as lane selection is dubious. But on the other hand, Oh, here's a part of town where I've put a lot of lumber industry. You can see all the buildings here are devoted to lumber and turning raw lumber into finished logs and goods and stuff. Oh my goodness. This building appears to have burned down. Let me just, I'm trying to shoot a promotional video here to make our city look beautiful. We don't want to, we don't want to record the burned down buildings. That doesn't make us look good. So anyway, but yeah, I love how you can set the different industries through the use of districts. And here we have all lumber. I think over here is oil industry. I may have used up all the oil and converted it to regular. Now here, in an effort to get better at traffic, I've tried to build roundabouts. And this roundabout here is beautiful with the commercial buildings on the inside and the lovely trees. And it's in the middle of an industrial lumber industry area, so it's actually quite a pretty place to be. The idea was, as people get off the highway here, or trying to get on it, when I have intersections that collide with the highway, that's where I seem to have a lot of really terrible traffic. So I thought, hey, get all the way in so you get off the road, guys. Come on. I thought if I had a roundabout here, it would cut down on the traffic and the congestion coming in off of the highway, and that seems to have mostly worked. The traffic here isn't terrible. Obviously, most people are all going out that same direction, but this one actually, from a traffic standpoint, might be something of a success. But if you go over here, we're going to see one of my failures. This roundabout works sort of well, I guess. It's just that traffic is so backed up to get on this. This is another one of my, just terrifying roads that I would hate to drive on to get up to the next level. And another prime example of people really favoring one lane. But anyway, you get up to this roundabout here. Actually, it doesn't look too bad once it went today, but, well, then again, I mean, look at the line of traffic to get in this roundabout. The whole point of a roundabout is for it to be constantly moving, but I think obviously I built the roundabout wrong because there's traffic lights here. A proper roundabout is not supposed to have traffic lights. I don't know. You don't manually decide if it has traffic lights or not. It was my understanding that if it's all one-way roads going around like this, and you can see these arrows, these are all one. Well, this is a two-way. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe making this a two-way road, it just completely ruined the roundabout system, I guess. That could be. Anyway, I obviously messed up, because roundabouts aren't supposed to have traffic lights, and that one does. So, and just, oh my gosh, look at the line of people stacked up waiting to get into the roundabout. This is a traffic nightmare. But whatever. Oh well. My next city, I'll try to do better with the traffic. This city is not doing terrible. Even though the traffic is bad, look how beautiful this city is. Obviously, people are willing to live here, despite the terrible traffic. I do have a really good bus system and subway system, so maybe a lot of people are taking the bus and the subway. Oh my goodness, I really tried hard, but there's just so much traffic trying to get off. And maybe I should have just made this whole thing a four-way. But anyway, I tried to make this a roundabout, and then I tried to make shortcuts, and I don't know what I'm doing. But designing the roads to try to cut down the traffic is like the biggest puzzle. It is the biggest intellectual puzzle that you will face in this game, and it's one of the biggest challenges. But when you can get your traffic to work, everything else is pretty easy, and it's pretty rewarding. I don't know. It's good to have challenges, and that's the challenge in this game. And this game is very moddable. They've made it very easy for people to make mods, so I couldn't help but download a mod that adds the Protoss pylons from StarCraft and StarCraft 1 and 2. And it's completely ridiculous. It kind of breaks the realism, but I love having I just think they're cool. The pylons are just neat. And they actually produce electricity. They produce the same amount of electricity as a windmill would. And they count for extending the little blue electric field around. So they're useful, they're functional, and they look awesome, even if they are ridiculous. I don't care. They're fun. Now up here at the very top of the mountain, we've got railroad that connects to the rest of the world and comes in. And so this is a prime place. Unfortunately, it's very far from the highway, which is unfortunate because there's a lot of traffic trying to get to and from the railroad so that they can bring export or import materials for industry. So we've got lots of logging trucks. I actually think that I have more industry, more factories to use logs and turn logs into finished goods than I have cutting down trees. So I think my city is importing a lot of lumber, a lot of raw logs from outside the city, and then we're processing them. So we've got lots of trucks. And that one's probably bringing oil into some of our oil buildings. So anyway, we've got lots of trucks. Oh my goodness, that bus. Oh, the traffic here is fun to watch. So yeah, so the railroad station is a nice little boon to my industry, bringing in lots of raw materials. And I really love trains, so I enjoy getting to watch the trains whizzing by on the railroad tracks. That's a lot of fun. Good times. This game is just lovely. I have, here's some more industry. I thought it would be a good idea to put industry right next to the railroad station. It's working out fairly well, but I think it is suffering from being so far away from the highway. And this whole area at the top of the mountain here is pretty isolated. I haven't bought this land up here yet, so I haven't been able to expand the city over here. I'll buy that land and build out that way more later, and that'll probably help. And here comes the train. Oh my gosh, get off the tracks. What are you, crazy? Whoosh. Chicka, 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 chicka. Anyway, love the trains. I have a passenger train station here as well. Oh, that's another cargo. I don't know. I had a passenger station here somewhere. Here it is. But I haven't connected any other passenger lines yet, so nobody's really using the passenger train yet. Although I put a bus stop right out here, so people do use my buses quite a bit. Anyway, there's a lot of details to gameplay and stuff that I won't get into right now. I'm not really an expert at it anyway. I mean, I've been playing city builders since the original SimCity game decades ago, and I love them. I am not necessarily great at them, and I'm really still learning the ins and outs of City Skylines. There's some wonderful features, but the city is far from my ideal city. Like, I don't know that I would necessarily want to live here. I usually try to create a city that I would want to live in. And these roads and this traffic I would not want to drive on these streets. So, but it's been a lot of fun. I love that there's a map editor, and I am going to keep working on getting better and learning more. So maybe I'll do videos later. If I ever get good enough that I feel like I have any business like giving tips, I might do that later. Right now, I can't really tell you much except to just give it a review, in which I would say, if you've liked the SimCity games, if you like city builders, you're gonna love this game. I think this is the best city builder game I've played since, SimCity 5 was fun. But this game does some things better than SimCity 5, like lets you build giant cities. The SimCity 5 cities are also small. The regions, they're tiny. And I guess here you're supposed to build lots of tiny baby regions and have them all interact with each other. I'd rather just have one big sprawling city. And this game lets you do that. And I could fill in. This city could grow a lot more. There's all kinds of land I can grow out to. I've been working on getting the road down to where I can build by the ocean and use the farmland down here. Although the roads and highways that I've tried to build down here are ridiculous. When I was in the map editor, I thought I could come down this way, but these were all too steep, and oh my goodness, this road is insane. But anyway, yeah, so this city is already, this is a big city, and it's not filled up half of the available space. So one thing this City Skylines has over SimCity is just raw size. Your cities can be massive. And the water dynamics are fantastic. You can, for a little while, I had all my sewage plants on this one river, but I was pulling water from upstream this river, but I was also pulling water from this river and from water towers, which I guess collect rainwater. And so because I was pulling water from 2 or 3 sources and putting them all and dumping all of the sewage into this one source, it keeps track of how much water is coming and going. And this river was flooding downstream. All down here was flooded because I was putting more water into this river than I was taking out of it, you know. And I love that dynamic. The way it works with water in this game is fantastic. So that's another advantage it has over SimCity. And also, you know, it's on Steam, which I love. I prefer all my games to be in Steam. I don't want to go to Origin. Oh, here's a mod, an Enterprise Park, Star Trek Park. This is a park I pulled off of the internet, off of the Steam Workshop, and it works just like a regular park. It makes people nearby happy. It makes people nearby have leisure space and increases land value or whatever. All the same stuff you would get from any other park, except somebody modded it to have the Enterprise statue in the middle of it. So that's awesome. So the mods are a huge boon to this game as well. That I don't know, maybe SimCity 5, maybe you could mod SimCity 5 if you went in and put a lot of effort into it, but these mods are built right into the Steam Workshop, so it's so easy. You don't have to know anything about file structure or, you know, how computers work to just install mods through Steam. You just look through their store and you say, that looks neat, click, and there you go. Oh no! There's a fire in the lumber district! Oh no, where's the fire trucks? Are those are fire trucks, I think. Yeah, get out of... Why are you blocking the fire trucks? Move! Okay, well, that's weird that they just went right through the lumber truck, but I'm glad. Dude! I know you big semis with your logs think that you have the right of way because you're the biggest thing on the road, but you gotta get out of the way of the fire trucks. We need these firefighters to put out the fire. This is the lumber district. This is the worst place in the city to have a fire. Look at it's all flammable. It's all trees everywhere you look. I had a big problem for a while where I just had fires were burning down the whole city practically. Well, I was just having lots of fires. They weren't burning down the whole city. And I kept putting in more fire stations, and it was finally I realized that I had plenty of fire stations and fire trucks. Just my roads were so bad. The fire trucks were getting stuck in traffic jams before they could reach the buildings. So again, that was the roads and the traffic were the challenge to overcome. Oh, here's my 4 solar power plants. I'm mostly green. I have 1 oil plant because I have so much oil industry and oil in the ground that I'm pulling out. I was like, before I could afford all these solar plants, I was like, I'm producing oil, why not just use it in my power plant? So I have 1 oil power plant. Otherwise, it's all wind and solar, so pretty green. Not completely green, but pretty green. Anyway, it's a great game. I am loving it to pieces. It has a little bit of a learning curve. You know, it's very similar to SimCity, but it's not SimCity. So you do have to learn some things that are unique to it. But it is a beautiful... I mean, look at some of these shots. It's just a lovely game. It's I'm loving it to pieces. If you like city builders, you like this. If I have any tips to give you, it's to build the walking paths. I thought the walking paths were kind of silly. They're in the decoration section. But look at this. People are actually walking on this gigantic walking path. Look, here's a little old man with a cane. Poor old timer, and look how long this path is. It comes from this park, and then this is a long walking path over here. But, I mean, people are using it. I put it in because I had industrial zones over here, industrial zones and commercial zones that I thought people would want to work at. And on the other side of the highway is mostly residential. At least at the time it was. I think there's commercial there now. But I imagined people were going to live here in the residentials, and then to get to work at the factories, they were going to have to go drive through this whole over the highway. So I built this little walking path, hoping that some people would just walk to work, and that would mean less traffic. You know, if people are walking to work, they're not driving, so there's less traffic on your roads, and that'll make your traffic better. That was my thinking. And I didn't really think anybody was going to use a walking path this far, that went this long, but they do. people in Mount Todd are very healthy because they will walk very far, very long distances. And that's the one piece of advice I would give you. I mean, build walking paths everywhere you can, because, you know, if people are walking, they're not driving, and the fewer people driving, the easier your roads and traffic is going to be. So there you go. That's like the one thing I've learned. Also, don't extract water from 4 rivers and dump all your sewage in one river. That's the other, like, only other thing I know. You will flood that river if you put in more water than you're taking out. Anyway, thank you for watching. I recommend this game to anyone who likes city builders. I'm having a blast with it. Thank you and good night.